Today, Baltic Sea guys, welcome to the newest episode about Sram SX NX problem. I say no to NX and SX on the bikes where you are going to be doing some intervals or racing. That's the long story short. Now let me tell you what's the problem. The problem is that we have now 12 speed cassettes and the thickness of the cogs remains the same, which is very good because still 12 speed Eagle cassettes from SRAM are very durable. I love my XX1 on my Merida 96, which is now 3 years old. The cassette, the gold cassette, still runs beautifully. It has, I don't know, maybe 5,000 kilometers, I know, maybe more. I don't count since 2 seasons ago. Second chain, everything cool, but sometimes when you are switching the gears, changing the gears, going from the lower gear to the higher gear, instead of going just one sprocket down the cassette, the derailleur will jump over the one you want to have and then go back one. So, for example, I want to change from the bigger, larger third gear to the smaller fourth gear. That means one click. On SRAM it's 2 clicks because there is no instant release on SRAM, which is on Shimano. The chain will go from the third to the fifth and then go back to the fourth. That started happening with my XX1, not very often, but it does happen, especially on some bumps, after about 1,000 kilometers. On the NX it happens from the beginning, and I would say this is the first derailleur in my life I gave up adjusting. There were some not really good derailleurs like the first SLX, some derailleurs felt just like twitchy and they were difficult to adjust, but still possible to adjust and possible to understand how to switch the gears, change the gears. Here it just happens, and I feel that after about 800 kilometers, which I have done on this training hardtail right now, it is pretty often, which means this is carbon hardtail. This is like entry-level racing XC machine. Means you're gonna be doing some intervals, lots of them. Going up the hill. If you're going up the hill and you want to switch the gear because you still have the power, you want to go faster, so you're switching from second to third, from fifth to sixth. The chain will go from fifth to seventh and go back to sixth. Now imagine when you are doing the sprint and you're pedaling really hard, you can snap the chain, and that's a big no-no on the racing. Anywhere, but on the racing you don't want to lose the chain because of crappy derailleur. Of course you can break the teeth on the cassette, and we are wearing down the drivetrain faster. So for all those, and that's the main theme of this episode, for all those who buy entry-level racing marathon full suspension bike or a hardtail or maybe enduro bike where you are going to be spinning fast, I mean like accelerating fast through some sections during the races, NX, SX I do not recommend. I haven't done many kilometers on the SX derailleur, but since NX has the problem, I assume that SX will also have it from the beginning. So if you have a couple of bikes to choose from, let's say two bikes for $2,000, both on NX derailleur, but one will have better fork and the other will have lower model. I wouldn't choose between such two bikes. I would love to have just the same components, same fork, but focus on the GX rear derailleur, because from GX upwards, GX, X01, XX1, they are more precise. That's my feeling. I cannot tell you about Shimano. It happened to me, the same thing happened to me on the XTR, but just a couple of times. I need to do more racing in order to confirm. And also it happened on the XTR drivetrain and shifter with the GX cassette. That's my new lightweight hardtail. I just got the bikes, the wheels with the microspline free hub body, so I will be able to put it now back with the XTR cassette and tell you more. But on the SRAM NX, SX, not for racing, not for enduro racing, not for XC racing, not for marathon racing. Focus on GX upwards. Of course, you will be probably buying X01, XX1, but if you are on the budget, you want to race, That would be the first upgrade on this bike, and actually I'm gonna replace this derailleur with GX, leaving all the rest, the chain, the cassette, the same, and see whether there is a difference or not, and I will confirm that on another episode. Another thing is when you buy e-bikes for something like $5,000, $6,000, if there is an extra drivetrain on such an expensive bike, and the drivetrain will cost the manufacturer maybe $80 or $100, don't go that path. Tell guys in the shop who want to sell you such a bike that I said you need to get a discount because of that crappy, maybe even crappy derailleur. It shouldn't be working like that, even for the amateur riders. Of course, if you're just doing some recreational mountain biking, it won't bother you that much. But if you don't know how to change the gears, sometimes you will push too hard, you will be able to snap the chain. I wonder why Nino Schurter snapped the chain on one of his World Cups, whether it was linked to this like multi-shifting problem. You want to go down by one and you go down two, like two gears down and one up. So actually the derailleur will go like 1, 2, 3 instead of just 1. That's a big difference. And if you want to minimize this problem, you're gonna be playing with the barrel adjuster here, putting more tension on the cables, and then you will get problem when shifting up the cassette. So this is not really possible to adjust. If you cannot do it, don't worry. I'm telling you guys, at least NX SX 99% also just has this problem, and that's it. Otherwise, it's okay. Drivetrain, it's cheap, but not on $8,000, $5,000, $6,000 worth or costing e-bike. That's it for this episode, and wait for the update with the GX derailleur on this bike. See ya, guys.